Hello, everybody. Chef Marcus Guiliano here. Welcome to In the Weeds, episode number 33. Some real tales from the restaurant industry. And who's joining me today?
I'm Bart Hubbuch. I'm founder, owner, and executive chef of Memphis Seoul in Brooklyn.
Memphis Seoul. So that's got, I see the spelling of it. How do you spell it? How do you spell soul?
Seoul. It's a play on words because I really feel like, just from my research, we're the first people to ever do fuse Southern cooking and soul food with Korean and Asian influences. And I'm from Texas originally, but Memphis, I started out with pulled pork, and Memphis is the home of pulled pork, and it fit and there was the Memphis soul sound in the 60s. So the name really kind of came together and fit. So
yeah, I love the name. I got the play on words right away. That was really cool. I mean, just looking at the name, I'm like, yeah, for me, it raises curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who likes food and likes to go out, I'm like, okay, I wonder what they have there. Let me take a look. So that totally grabs my attention. So great job on the name. Really cool on that.
Thank you.
How long have you been in business?
We started as a street festival and a tent and street festivals in New York City in April of 2018, and we opened up our brick and mortar in January of 2019, and we've been in continuous service since then. So it's just past the third anniversary of our brick and mortar and almost the fourth anniversary of the company. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now, how much experience did you have coming into the restaurant industry?
Zero. I'll probably be one of the more unusual guests you've had on this podcast. I'm just about to turn 54, and I was a sports writer, a journalist for 30 years. And then I left that business. You do something for that long, it just kind of becomes, you want to change. And so in 2017, I left that business, and I had always in the back of my mind, I'd always been a foodie, and I'd always been a home cook and a home chef. And I was like, a lot of people, I was like, yeah, I want to see, I just wanted to take a swing at it and see if I could come up with my own food concept. And here we are 4 years later. I'm very proud of what we accomplished. I mean, I feel like this has, national and even international potential. We have a lot of very loyal customers. Our average delivery ticket is $46. I've had many potential investors kick the tires and tell me, this would do great in Los Angeles, this would do great in San Francisco, this would do just great anywhere, and especially overseas. I think it has a lot of potential too. So there's a lot of curiosity about a lot about American food. Soul food's not really known around the world, and then also Korean food is having a moment. It's really kind of come into its own in recent years. So you have and we kind of appeal to a lot of audiences, and so I really feel like this has a lot of potential. I think the sky's the limit for it. So I'm very happy, but it's a lot of work, and I got a lot of work ahead of me. But I really feel like it's got. Like I said, unlimited potential.
Usually people that have no experience prior, that are in it for 4 years like this, are exhausted and drained and ready to get out. You seem quite the opposite. You're looking at big picture things.
Well, I think the feeling that I told, that I repeated that about, I feel like it has the sky's the limit as potential. I think that's what drives me, and that's what motivates me. And also, like we're having a lot of, it's daily success. I really feel like the restaurant has, really caught on. I really do feel like I have proof of concept. We finished 2021 with $700,000 in gross revenue, and that which was 36% over 2020, and 2020 was 46% over 2019, and that was in a pandemic, and we were profitable both years. So I feel like I really have a lot of things to feel good about, and so that really motivates me. I can't wait to, I get up every day, can't wait to attack the day and grow my concept.
That's awesome. So coming to this industry without any experience, what's probably one of the biggest things that shocked you? Like, oh my gosh, like how in the world can this be happening in this industry?
I would say, that's I'll almost give you, I don't risk of boring you, but it'd be almost like a multi-part answer, just because there's so much that is eye-opening to somebody from outside the business. I would say the biggest thing is the amount of things that can go wrong on a daily basis that I tell people I feel like a MASH doctor, just constantly providing triage. And
Just putting out fires,
yeah,
putting
putting
out
out
fires,
fires
and waiting for
every
the next one to start.
single day, every single day. And I think it's even more intense in New York, just because things are so expensive here. Rent is so expensive, taxes, the regulatory environment is it can be oppressive at times, even though that has lifted considerably during the pandemic. It's not as it's not as cutthroat as far as the city being on your behind, constantly. I think the city and everybody here has realized, that a lot of these small businesses and restaurants really drive the economy, and they're not something to get fat off of. It's something they want to, now they realize the importance of nurturing these
That's
businesses. And
good.
so
Because I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you about that during the
yeah,
pandemic. Do you have a?
the environment has changed, but I would say that was probably and the fact that it's so difficult to make money. There's just so many. You sell a lot of food, you got to buy a lot of food, so it's very difficult to get to scale in this business. And so
Right. People equate making more revenue means making more money.
right,
But if you're losing money to begin with, you might repeat that same recipe of losing more money because you're bringing in more money, because everything's not profitable that we do. And a lot
right.
of operators don't understand that. So yes,
That's why I think it's very important that anybody getting in the restaurant business, you just have to get a read. I'm just a huge believer in data. I drive my people crazy with all the data requests and all the analysis I'm doing, but you got to get a bead on your costs, or you're done. You're doomed.
I agree 100%. And most people run high labor, and they don't realize they're running high labor until they're like way broke. So
Right.
they're way broke. The labor's way too high when they could have done something 8 weeks earlier, 12 weeks earlier, and made some changes. And it's not. I feel like we're almost like airplane pilots. There's a series
Mhm.
of all these checklists that we have to do every single day.
Right.
And when a dish goes out with the wrong cheese on it, or overcooked, undercooked, burnt, whatever it is, it's like that's just one thing on the checklist that we miss.
Yeah.
And to fly a plane, it's complicated. To run a restaurant, it's complicated. We're working on so many different moving elements and
Mhm.
people on top of it. And I'm sure employees, your team members, have created a challenge at some point too, because every operator says that.
Mhm. Yeah, I would say more in the beginning, especially so we had a thing early in January 2021, where we were featured on Channel 7 News here in New York. Did like a 2-minute, 3-minute story on us on the evening news. And interest, I mean, I didn't realize that many people still watch the evening news. Interest exploded. I mean, we went from like average of 30 to 40 delivery orders on and mind you, we have a 436 square foot restaurant. And
Okay.
so we're doing, 30 to 40 delivery orders. And then this story ran, and the following Saturday after it ran, we got 105 orders, and it was a complete meltdown because my poor staff, they just weren't ready for that. And I didn't blame them. I wasn't ready for it either. It
Right.
was just exponentially more than we were used to handling and could handle with our current systems. And so I immediately ramped up the hiring. And anytime you do that, it's you're gonna have some problems. You're not be able to hire the best employees every single time. And so that took a little while to shake out, and but now I feel like the kind of the wheat has I've been able to separate the wheat from the chaff, and I really feel good about the people I have with me. All of them have been with me for more than a year, almost 2 years,
Fantastic.
and they like working there, and they like that they believe in the concept, and so I really feel like I'm in a really good place now. But I mean, if you talked to me this time last year, I was, you know, it was rough because we were having to bring on a lot of people at the same time. And, you know, it was not some of them, not the best people. So,
So what was your biggest struggle during the pandemic?
you
What you
know, to be honest, it's like
what'd you
I
learn the
really
mo-
feel like I'm living in I was living in an alternate universe as far as a restaurant owner, because I read, you know, I was a journalist, so I read, you know, the news avidly, and every story was about the poor restaurant owner, which I understood. I felt bad, you know, like the place right next to me had been one of the biggest grossing restaurants in New York, and then 2 months into the pandemic, they were out of business completely. And so you know, I realized people were struggling, but our place was set up for delivery and takeout all along. And so to be very bizarre situation, but it just kind of played right into our wheelhouse. And so I didn't really, you know, it wasn't a struggle for us. I think it was more of a struggle for us when we were trying to prove the concept amid the, you know, 2019 level of competition in New York City, which, as you know, was insane. I mean, you had 20 something 27,000 restaurants, and that was just hard to break above the den. But you know, now that we've been able to be in the neighborhood for, you know, 3 years now, and I really feel like we're kind of catching on and stuff. So
Cool. So
you know, it hasn't been a struggle for us. It actually, you know,
that's
been
fantastic
in
to hear.
our wheelhouse. So
That is fantastic. Here, I talked to restaurateurs on both sides. For me personally, we've had our best 2 years in the restaurant industry. We've been here since 2003. So we totally crushed and killed it in 2020 and 2021. So
well, I hesitate to say that just because I don't want to look like grandstanding or, you know, like taking advantage of a global pandemic. You know, I understand how that looks and stuff, but
we
it's
worked
just,
hard.
I'm just being honest. You know, I worked. Oh my
We worked
God!
very
Right
hard.
when the pandemic started, I thought I was going to suffer the same fate as all these other restaurant owners, so I immediately laid off all my staff. And then all of a sudden, I realized, oh my God, I got to bring them all back. You know, because this is like
I
this has
had
been
the
like a
same
boon for us. So
I had the same thing happen to me. Lay everybody off, sell all my food,
right,
sell it. And then when I started realizing people were going to stockpiling toilet paper, I said, "Oh, they're going to stockpile other things." And we spun off another whole
right.
line of revenue with groceries and frozen fish and things like that. And we did very, very well with that. But we had, you know, just adapt. But I agree with you. I worked harder than I ever worked before. It was worth it. But I think most restaurateurs had an option to either go all in or say, "This is my reason I'm getting out now. It's beyond my
Right.
fault. It's a pandemic. The government shutting things down. I think people felt good going out, knowing that maybe it wasn't their fault when they could have
Right.
really tried. So I really admire all the people out there that just buckled down and tried, because it was tough. And you know what? It's 2022 right now. We still don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I mean, we're just going along the best that we can, and we can go in any direction at this point. So there were a lot of great takeaways from the pandemic that we learned here in our restaurant that we're going to keep doing and keep going forward. Now let's talk about the food, because I love the name, and I want to just know how you came up with this concept. I want to know some of your dishes, some of the flavors, some of the flavor combinations that really work that one wouldn't think would work, or just let's talk to us about this fusion.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I'm not number one. I'm not Korean. My wife is not Korean. I get asked all these questions all the time. I hate to say it, but the explanation is a lot more mundane. When I got into this business, my originally thought was to do it in street festivals, and the biggest one in New York City is Smorgasburg. And so I was like, I'll do like burgers or hot dogs, maybe Chicago dogs or something like that. And then I logged on to the Smorgasburg website, and I realized, oh my God, it's like getting on Top Chef or something. You have to try out, they have to acknowledge you, they have to acknowledge you, and then you have to come in, and it's a very involved process. And they're basically, I realized that you have to have a shtick, you have to have a hook. It cannot be, you cannot go to Smorgasburg and say, hey, I just want to cook hot dogs and hamburgers, because they'll laugh you out of the room, And so we lived down the street from one of our favorite restaurants here in Brooklyn, is probably the most common thing that you ever see Korean fused with. It's Korean and Mexican. It's called kimchi taco, and I was like, huh, I was just like kind of playing around. I was like, why have I never seen Korean fused with soul food or Southern cooking? And I'm from Dallas and I love to cook, I love fried chicken and fried catfish and meatloaf and, all the staples of soul food. And so I just kind of played around in my kitchen and came up with some, I got a tryout with them. They didn't accept me because I didn't have any experience, and they were, they need more seasoned, I think, operators. And so at the time they did, and so, but I was like, well, I'm going to take no for an answer, because I felt like, and a lot of people around me, that tasted my food felt like I was onto something there, and I really needed to see if this could succeed. And so I went and did some other street festivals, and then just grew it from there. And we've expanded the menu during COVID. We added a lot of the fried dishes. Now so we serve all the staples, but we do them all with a twist. We, instead of regular meatloaf, we do bulgogi meatloaf, which is a Korean barbecue marinade that they put on steak.
Yes.
Or short rib, if you go to a Korean restaurant, like in K-Town. And we sell the bao buns, which is more Chinese, but it's we say that it's with a Korean kick, but we also say it's a lot of Asian influences too. So the bao buns are very popular. We do pulled pork. We do and being in Brooklyn, I realized, oh my, we're gonna have to appeal to the vegetarians, and so we do barbecue jackfruit.
Awesome.
Which has been very popular. And so, anybody can come into Memphis Soul with basically any palate and get something. We can have vegans come in and they can have a full meal at our place with no problem. But also we do baby back ribs. We slow cook those. We do tater tots, pulled pork, cream barbecue meatloaf, fried chicken, fried catfish, and barbecue, and barbecue jackfruit. That's basically, we work out of a small rotation of small bullpen of items, but we almost use like the Taco Bell effect, where
Okay.
you have a lot of items. We have a lot of SKUs and a big menu, but it's generated out of a small
Small, right. Do you have any seating inside, or is it all?
We do.
How many?
We have 10
inside?
tables,
Okay.
and then we built a shed outside that has 2 four tops, and so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a liquor license?
We do. We have a beer and wine license, and so we sell. That's also been very good for us, because the most popular. Most popular Korean export as far as alcohol is soju, but you don't need a full liquor license to sell soju, because it is under the 25%. So it's considered, I guess, under New York State liquor law, it's considered the equivalent of wine. And so I'm able to get by on a beer and wine license, but still sell the Korean rice vodka. And Perfect. We import, we like to say we have the biggest selection soju in Brooklyn, because we sell 14 different flavors, and then we sell a soju hard seltzer now. And
wow, okay.
And Korean kombucha, we sell that too. And then the most popular Korean lager, we sell that too.
Okay, yeah. So the people that are listening to this, if you don't know what soju is, it's Korean vodka. And there's about 5 or 6 states throughout the U.S. that allow this with the wine and beer license. Texas, Georgia, I believe California, New York, and there might be a couple other states. So if you're an operator out there with just a wine and beer license, look into soju. We used it for our first 2 years when we only had a wine and beer license, and you can make martinis, you can make drinks out of it, you can make mojitos.
We do a soju colada in the warmer months. That's been
there. You
popular.
go. Yeah. So that's a great piece of gold for anybody that has a wine and beer license in those states. Look up your laws. So what are some back in the day, 18 years ago, we used to use Han, and I know Han is not really available in New York, or is it in New York? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. No, we get the company is Good Day.
Good day. Okay.
We originally went with Genro, but they didn't have as big a selection and it was more expensive. So
Okay. And there's a lot of small boutique ones too, as well as the bigger ones. So you can have a lot of fun with that. I'm very glad you mentioned that, because that's a big differentiating factor to restaurants with wine and beer license. So thank you. All right. So I'm coming in there. It's my death row meal. What am I eating? What are you cooking?
it's funny. We get everybody that comes in for the first time. They're like, I want to order everything on the menu.
Okay. All right. So everything.
I would say you would want to go with our bulgogi meatloaf. It's not like, a lot of people have bad memories of meatloaf growing up because their mom made it and it was really dry. But no, ours is very moist and tender and incredibly flavorful with the marinade. And we're the only people doing this, And so if you want some bulgogi meatloaf, which, trust me, once you have it, you'll be like, I gotta, it'll be very memorable once you have it. And that's remains one of our best sellers, even though we added fried chicken and a lot of the, the more, what do you say, the crowd pleasing items.
Right. The
People
recognizable.
still come back to them once they have a taste of the meatloaf. They want it in the bao buns or they want it on a sandwich. We serve oversized sandwiches, and then also we do sliders. And also, it's very popular is we do a bibimbap style rice bowl.
Okay.
And we dice up the meatloaf and put it on there with kimchi coleslaw,
Really?
pickles, and then put the fried egg on it, Korean style. That's
Okay.
incredibly popular, especially the fried
That's the
chicken bowl.
granite. That's the granite hot pot.
We don't serve it that way, but we do serve it in a rice bowl. We say it's bibimbap style.
Okay.
You do with compartmentalized toppings and then with the egg on top.
Fantastic.
That's been very popular too. So.
Awesome. So, what kind of advice do you have to people getting into the restaurant industry that have never been in the restaurant industry?
I would say go in with your eyes wide open. Treat every nickel like it's a manhole cover. Get a bead on your costs from the day one. And that just means paying a lot of attention to, spreadsheets are your friend. Pay attention to all your data as much as you can. Before you even start, realize how much it costs you to make each item. So you're pricing it correctly, and you're not losing money off of, you might think, I've got this amazing, menu item, but you're not realizing the true cost of it, and you're underpricing it, and to where it's almost where you're losing money on it, and that just defeats the purpose. And I would say, and then also find good suppliers, negotiate with them, try and get on, get net 30, get good credit with them, prove that you're reliable to them, and they'll be good to you. We have a really good working relationship with US Foods. And just try and get the right people. That's just, I know that's easy to say. It's much more difficult to do in real life, but I found that if you treat them right and give them a goal, and I believe in being incredibly transparent with my employees. They are allowed to see my P&L statements anytime they want, because I found out early on that they all think that we're getting rich doing this, and we're not.
That is so important.
The capital costs, I'm still paying those back. I still have been able to pay myself, a decent amount, just because the capital costs involved in this, especially in doing one in New York City, are just astounding. And so you gotta have a long view and be patient. But like I said, I believe in total transparency. They can see, how we're doing on a daily basis, monthly basis. And I found that they appreciate that, and it almost increases the teamwork effect, because they realize, when the business is going up, hey, wow, we're building something here as a team. And I think that's been able to build some loyalty, from the people that work with me. So.
Very, very well said. 2 episodes I talked about a very untraditional or unconventional way to help lower your labor costs, and that's keep your staff informed what the labor cost is. Show them your sales, show them the labor, show them this. Just show them because they're going to be on your side now. And they're going to
Right.
understand. We posted in our kitchen the labor costs every week, and I had a new cook that was with us for, I don't know, 12 weeks. He was with 3 or 4 months, and winter comes around. We're a little slower. He's watching the costs go higher, and he says to me, he goes, "Hey boss, you want me to take off on Mondays?" And I'm like, "Do you want off on Mondays?" He's like, "Not really, but I see labor's high, so maybe that would help." And that's
Yeah.
like, you don't understand. You don't understand by being transparent to your team members. They will help you.
Yep.
And if you're not transparent, they think you're raking it in, and and oh wow, and you're not paying me enough, and you're making all this money. And transparency is the best way to go. So that is fantastic, fantastic advice. So
Yeah. My number two guy, young guy, he's in his early 30s. He didn't have much experience as far as the dollars and cents as far as the restaurant business. And now, like I said, I treat every nickel like it's a manhole cover, but he's become almost religious in it. And I'm like, I've found he's almost more in tune to it and wanting to control costs than I am,
that's
so it's
fantastic.
been pretty amazing.
Yep, that is amazing. All right, so tell us how we can find you. What's your website? What's your Instagram? All that kind of stuff.
We are at Get Memphis Soul on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And then our website is www.getmemphissoul.com. That's SEOUL, like South Korea, getmemphissoul.com. You can find us at street festivals throughout New York. And we also do some in Long Island and Stamford, Connecticut. We're going to do that this year. And and during the warmer months.
Excellent. Well, Bart, thank you very much. This was very informative. Great story. Really great story. Because like I said, most people like you, after 4 years, would be like, "What's my exit plan? How am I getting out of this?
Right.
Like, what did I get myself into?" So
Well, I
congratulations.
have asked that question many times.
I still ask myself that question. What I get myself into.
But I just keep my eyes on the prize that I feel like we have. So
awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I hope to, when I'm back in New York City, because I would visit in New York City frequently, and hopefully we'll be back soon. Would love to come visit. And
oh yeah, I forgot to tell people that we're in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, at 569 Lincoln Place, near the Brooklyn Museum in Prospect Park.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you. You're a great guest, and continued success with your business and your big picture there, because Memphis Soul, it's got a ring to it. It's got my curiosity.
Great. Thank you.